All right, joining us now is the attorney for President Trump, David Schoen, for this impeachment. I call it the shift show charade. David, we've been friends a long time, David. I loved your arguments. I loved your passion. I thought it was sort of like a lot of free associating in the beginning. And I'm not attacking your partner. I don't know him at all. But I like focused arguments, and I particularly liked you actually ran tape of the Democrats pointing out the obvious that, news has changed quite a bit since the snap impeachment.
Yeah. I think this is a very, very, very painful and wrong process for the country. It's, as you said earlier in your show, it's very easy to stand up and show spliced and manufactured films. Literally, the Democrats, the House managers, apparently hired a large a movie company and a large law firm to put together this thing. It's a matter of tricking the American people to play as if the rioting was going on in real time with the speech. What's the purpose of that? Why do we want to trick the American people? And listen, they have great entertainment value. People are glued to, a movie that's made professionally like that. But that's not going to advance any cause of good in the country.
The constitutional issue, jurisdiction. Let's go over that and why this is not constitutional.
Yeah. There's so many reasons why it's not constitutional. It's funny, the House managers got up and said such a clear question. Even their people say it's a close call at best. But it's common sense. Nobody thinks of using the impeachment process for anything other than removing a civil official from office. We have courts. If you want to have an investigation, you want to prosecute someone, something like that, we have the courts for that. That's not what an impeachment is for. But, we talked about the language in the Constitution today, that sort of thing. To me, it's absolute nonsense. The president is no longer the president right now, and he's a person who can't be removed from office. He's a private citizen. This is what our founding fathers very much against, having a legislative body try a private citizen. Think about it. He doesn't get any of the benefits or safeguards that our Constitution provides for someone who has an actual trial. They put in that videotape would never go into evidence in any court in the world today. It's a spliced tape showing what they want to show.
It's pretty profound to me that the media is now acknowledging. We have law enforcement, the FBI acknowledging. We have court documents acknowledging. We have Ocasio-Cortez, the Congresswoman, acknowledging. All these people now discussing how, in fact, this was all pre-planned. Well, how do you make the argument that at a rally, the words of the president to peacefully and patriotically march to the Capitol so your voices are heard, how do you make the argument that that incited an insurrection when, in fact, it was all planned out apparently ahead of time, according to all of these varying sources now?
Yeah, even taking the position that speech incited an insurrection is as dangerous as I can imagine in the free speech area. It would absolutely chill passionate political speech. I think one of your earlier guests, maybe Mr. Trump Jr., said it best that, compared to other rhetoric you hear, this was mild. If you really read the speech and watch it, he calls for, when he uses the word fight, it's in the context of a legislator fighting or something like that. It's a really setting a horrible message to people. I understand they don't like Donald Trump on that side of the aisle. Well, he has, half the country loves him. I would say to you probably that if he had 75 million voters, they voted for him because they love Donald Trump. I don't know that many other candidates can say that. Many people may have voted because they didn't want Donald Trump for the other candidate, but he has a real following. He's a passionate person, and it's setting a very dangerous and wrong message. And it's a hoax, I'm sorry to say.
If we apply the Democratic standards for how they define incitement and insurrection, well, what if we applied it, as we started our monologue tonight, to the words of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, and a whole host of others? If that same standards is applied, do they not all deserve impeachment too? By the way, I don't agree with it, but if you use their standard, it seems if you're somewhat intellectually honest, you'd have to say they deserve impeachment.
Yeah, I would say if they tried to impeach them, I would say that also was an abuse was an abuse of the impeachment process. But your point is they're using rhetoric that's just as inflammatory or more so. The problem is they don't really have followers. They're dedicated followers. And so, when they give their speeches. But this speech, I think right now you really are finding out about the pre-planning. And I'm afraid they're going to back off that investigation because maybe, so many people want to tie it to Donald Trump. There's nothing they showed today that in any way ties this to Donald Trump. It's just a silly argument. It's not tied to Donald Trump or his speech whatsoever. So what they're doing now a bit is going back, well, you see, it's not just that speech. He's been, inciting people, inflaming people. No, he's been rousing the American public to drain the swamp, whatever they call it on his side, to make a difference in this country. That's what political speech is about.
There's a lot of criticism of the opening, not your part in particular, but it seemed to be free associating, extemporaneous, somewhat meandering. Will the rest of this process, because you're going to be out, as I understand it, Friday and Saturday, will this be more focused and will it be more prepared? And are there other people that some conservatives called me and said, whoa, we need somebody harder hitting here?
Well, the fellow who you say did the opening today has his law firm there. There seem to be very capable people. I'm sure today he hadn't planned on going. And so I'm sure that they'll be very well prepared in the future and do a great job in the case. There's a lot to say, and I know they feel very strongly about fighting against what they're seeing.
All right, David, good job today. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. We appreciate it.